Welcome to the Greatest Choice Podcast, challenging you to make greater choices.
All right. It's the Greatest Choice Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2. Let's go.
Let's go, everybody.
Hey, yo.
I hope everybody's sharing the same enthusiasm as my brother-in-law, Nilto, today.
Let's go,
Look at
Nilto.
this guy. So
One more.
happy to be
Hey,
here.
round of applause. Let's go.
Yo, the reality is this. We recorded our first episode tonight. Last night, this morning.
This morning.
We left the house at like 4, but we made a compromise to record every Monday night. So we're like, let's not postpone it to the next week. Let's just start it this week.
Yo, just a quick shout out to our editor, though. This dude's the best. We just sent
Yeah.
out the episodes today. This dude got it done for people to actually watch it on Tuesday. So,
There you go,
round
Charlie.
of applause. Let's go.
Great job, man. Give us
We
a
love you,
discount
bro.
now that we
Good
give you a
man,
shout out.
Great job, Charlie.
Anyways, I think the habits are so important, man, and
Yeah.
sticking to a schedule, sticking to a plan, right? Sticking to a plan is so important. Do you guys set plans for your day and in your routines? Is that something that you guys have been doing and working on?
Not always. I could tell you the difference between my day when I wake up and I plan it out in the morning and when I don't. Like, all of a sudden it's 5 p.m. and I'm like, where the heck did my day go, bro?
Yeah, man. I just feel like,
Felt like that today.
well, we woke up late because we went to bed so late.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those guys that will tell you, oh, wake up at 4 in the morning, you're going to be more productive. Yeah,
He used to be.
Yeah?
He used to be.
I used to be like that.
I remember.
Because I used to work at 9.
To be fair, we had a 9 to 5.
I
That's
had
true.
a 9 to 5, so
That is
I
true.
had no choice. Because if I didn't wake up at 4 a.m., I wouldn't get anything done,
That's true.
right? But it doesn't matter what time you wake up as long as you produce what you're supposed to produce,
Yeah.
right? But it depends on your industry too. Like, think about it. If you work at a bakery, you gotta wake up at 4 in the morning. If you
Yeah.
wake up at 10, how are you gonna be successful, right?
And here's the thing, too. I feel like there are people who are also night owls. Like,
Yeah.
they just work better at night.
I think all of us here are.
Yeah.
Night owls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard a quote from Gary Vee that he said, people usually say the early bird gets the worm, but then he says that the bird that knows itself best gets the worm.
Yeah.
So
No,
you just got to adjust to how you operate.
Dude, I think
100%.
there's so many gurus out there nowadays, man. Like on Instagram. Maybe people are looking at us and be like, oh, look at these guys trying to preach how to be. But
I mean, there's
Uh,
tons of them. But there's a few that are, I think,
it's just like
Actual-
everybody thinks they can be a coach nowadays.
Do you think you can be a coach?
I could.
yeah, it's the trend.
The irony.
No, but it's serious though. Like you see people like do nada, like the dudes just show up, like, all right, I'm a coach now. I was like, what, dude? Weren't you struggling? Didn't you just get a DUI last month? Like, what do you want to coach?
Do you think
us?
coaching works?
I believe so. I believe so. Because here's the thing. The best way for you to achieve what you want to achieve is to learn from people that have already done it. So
How you gonna know
mentor,
your coach has done it, though?
that's the thing. You got to do your research.
What if it's
'Cause-
just like a
Nah,
mentality
you
coach?
can't. I mean, that depends. Like I don't know. For me personally, it's more about, all right, what has this dude or woman accomplished in life, and do I believe that they have something to add to my life, right? I just don't believe in hypocrisy. Like, if you're not doing where you're preaching, I'm not gonna follow you. Like, I'm not listening to you, right? But I think so. I think, Gabe, you can give your take on this because you've done like coaching sections and stuff and,
Mhm.
and self improvement courses and
Yep.
and how do you like
Oh,
it?
dude, for me, I am 100% behind it. You know, for
Supporting it.
specific reasons. I mean, for me, it works. Once I joined the coaching program, they have a group on Discord and they break it down into tinier groups. So like you're also put into an accountability group. There's coaching calls weekly. Like they set the time and date so that you can join when it's convenient for you. So they understand people are in different schedules. There's people all over the world in this program too. So they have coaching sessions that's like, either in the morning, some are later in the afternoon, some at night. And they really set goals and teach you, like, dude, you have to learn to also plan your day, plan your life. And that's
Yeah.
something for me, I feel like I never really had a routine, and that's something that I need to get myself into, because it's tough, right? I mean, you go 25, 26 years without making a routine for yourself, and to shift and to do that, it's difficult because you're kind of in the habit of not being in a routine, if that makes sense. So now to break that, you have to really force yourself to do so.
Yeah, I think when I got out of the 9 to 5, my life was a mess for a few weeks because when you work a 9 to 5, you got to be at work, right?
Yeah.
You have a routine, you have to be there. And then I left, and I felt like I was not working enough because I was like, oh my god, I'm at home all day. Like, well, that's weird. I go to the gym whenever I want to. So that's when it gets tricky because if you're not disciplined enough with your time and you're not planning enough, things get piled up to the end of the day, and then you start sleeping late, and then it becomes just a whole habit. For me, sleeping too late, it's tough, and I don't want to be contradictory because of what we said. But here's the thing: if you sleep at 4 in the morning, and then you wake up at 12, you lost half of your day, and then it's just, I don't know.
I don't know if that math checks out.
No, what do you mean, bro? 12. If you wake up at 12, you lost half of your day.
I mean,
That's
it depends
24
on
hours
what-
in the day, right?
I don't think the math checks out
How
because
come?
that's 8 hours of sleep, and then you're going to bed at 4. What did you do between 12 and 4? You worked, right? Or unless you were playing FIFA.
I don't.
You're playing FIFA.
No, but dude, what do you? So if I wake up at 12, by the time I eat, take a shower, that's 1 o'clock, right? And then I go to the gym, come back 4 o'clock.
Well,
Is
you have
that-
to consider the work you're doing the day before.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I guess that's what it is. If I went to bed at 4 in the morning because I was playing video games, then that's different, right? Or if I was watching TV, like I started a show, Davi, the guy from Redox. It's a great podcast. If you guys like movies, you should watch it. And
Shut up.
Shout out, bro.
outs.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
let's go. And he told me about this show called Succession, and I was like, all right, let me watch it,
Heard of that?
dude.
That's dope.
Oh my god,
Dope.
I hate Davi so much because I stayed awake until 4 in the morning, 3 days in a row to try to finish. And the episodes are long.
Yeah.
They're mad long. So I was like, I'm just gonna watch one more because it was right on the weekend. So I started watching it on Friday. I finished season 1 and 2 in like 3 days. I was like, okay. It was my birthday week. Oh, I was treating myself. Anyways,
Yo, so I'm just going to bring a Bible verse in here real quick.
Oh, wow.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3. Read a couple verses here. So it says, the header says, a time for everything. For everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to cry and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to turn away, a time to search and a time to quit searching, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be quiet and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. What do people really get for all their hard work? I have seen the burden God has placed on us all. Yet God has made everything beautiful for its own time. He has planted eternity in the human heart. But even so, people cannot see the whole scope of God's work from beginning to end. So I concluded there is nothing better than to be happy and enjoy ourselves as long as we can. And people should eat and drink and enjoy the fruits of their labor, for these are gifts from God. And I know that whatever God does is final. Nothing can be added to it or taken from it. God's purpose is that people should fear him. What is happening now has happened before, and what will happen in the future has happened before. Because God makes the same things happen over and over again.
That's fire, man.
That came to mind as we were talking about time, and truly there is a time for everything, right?
oh yeah,
There's specific seasons in our life that we go through, whether it's a rebuilding phase, whether it's a growth phase, right? And every single season, God uses that for a purpose. And there may be things in our lives that we don't understand, right? And we can plan out all we want. But again, as we said in the last episode, is God is the one who establishes the plans in our life, right? We can plan all we want, but the final word is his.
dude. And look, what you said. Like, enjoy your life, be happy.
Yeah.
Right? So many people they're chasing something that's not making them happy, dude. Just change the plan, man.
Mhm.
Like,
I think
flip the
people.
script.
I think people also spend too much time worrying about things that just don't matter.
yeah,
Like guys, a bad day is guaranteed to come.
it's just a
If
bad
you have
day.
people you love, people are older than you, like a bad day is gonna happen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, why are you stressing about like if they got your coffee order wrong or something? That's come on, guys.
Hey man,
You're stuck in traffic.
yeah.
don't let that small blip of time ruin the rest of your day.
Yeah.
You know, it's like 10 seconds. It's so funny how 10 seconds can ruin the rest of your day if you allow it to.
Yeah.
If
You
you
gotta
allow
be
it
in
to.
control of your emotions, man, at the end of the day. Because
Yeah.
I think, like, the world is stressful. Because everybody's stressful. Like, you wake up at 6 in the morning and then get in your car and drive to work. You're going to look at everybody's faces. Everybody's, like, just so tense.
Dude, I don't think there was a more depressing time in my life than when I was like on my way out of the bank working my 9 to 5.
Dude, there was a book. What is the name of that book, Rodrigo, that we read?
Which one?
That one that the guy literally narrated our lives.
MJ DeMarco,
Yeah.
Unscripted.
Unscripted. Oh, dude. So this book, I think, opened up Rodrigo's eye, and then he shared it with me, and then I was like, oh, God. Or is it the other way around? I don't remember. I think.
I shared it with you because
Yeah.
I heard it on a podcast.
Yeah, so we read it.
No.
Literally.
Fale História Direito. I was on my way to work and I heard the first chapter.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this dude is describing my life
In
And-
detail.
in detail.
In detail.
Like down to the what I did this morning up until me being in the car driving to work.
And then he was like, bro, you need to listen to this. So I did the same thing. It wasn't planned. I just listened to the book like on my way to work. And I was like, wow, I am literally inside of a matrix. This dude quoted my entire morning so far.
Bro.
And then he quoted the rest of the day because it's a vicious cycle. You know, like you just do the same thing
Over
you
and
repeat
over.
over and over and over again, and then you get into debt, and then you buy a car, and then you buy a more expensive car, and then you have to work harder because now you have a more expensive car, and then you want to get married, so you're gonna spend time, you're gonna spend your money on the wedding, and then you're gonna buy a bigger house, and then you're gonna have more kids, and then you want to buy a bigger house, and bro, I was just like, oh my god,
I had a huge
bro.
headache.
I
had
was
a
like,
huge headache for the rest of the
I am
week.
a puppet. I am a puppet. Somebody's just like,
I remember we went to the gym after he heard it for the first time and we were lifting weight and we were like, man, we just dropped the weight on the floor like, this sucks, bro. Like, what are we doing with our lives, man? You're just wasting
No,
potential.
because-
let's
and-
open a
and he
business.
also
Okay,
said
we're opening
he-
a business.
because he also said, and then you go to the gym and you can't achieve the results that you want. You can't stick to a diet because you can't even go to lunch at the right time that you want
Oh.
because you have a boss that's going to tell you not to go and your work's going to get in the way. Bro, it's like,
Whoa.
wow. We're paid slaves. Like I told Roger, dude, we're paid slaves.
Jeez, dude. And a word comes into mind. This is something that you actually gave a study on this a long time ago, and it's on priorities. Sometimes when you are in that cycle, it can be hard to prioritize things in your life. That's important, right? If you have somebody like, let's say you're in that cycle of the 9 to 5 job, and you have
Sorry, guys. I'm in a mess.
Continue.
okay. So priorities. It's something that we really have to set for ourselves, right? And I think me and myself, I have to work on that. Is planning out my day. I'm terrible at that.
I think we got a lot going on though. Like there's a
No.
lot of new things right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I just feel like I can't use that as an excuse to not plan out my
Right.
day,
Boom.
right?
There goes. That was a test. I was like, let me test
You
this.
Because it's like, or else it's like, oh, I can't plan out my day because I got this going on. Oh, I have that. I got school. I got work. It's like, bro, stop. Like, if
I
you
think
truly,
that's when you have to do it the most.
yeah, 100%. I remember one time I had so much going on, but I didn't write down what I had to do that I felt like I couldn't do any of it. I felt stuck. I literally sat at my desk like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go from there.
You guys ever heard this? 50% of solving the problem is writing it down.
No, I never
No,
heard
I
of
never heard that.
Well, you heard it now.
that.
You're welcome.
That's true, though. Yeah, the two things that we talk about when we try to get out of the rat race, and we are all here now kind of manage our own time. We're all our own bosses. But the two things that come into mind is time management and the priority thing.
Yep.
So now that you don't have a 9 to 5 with this huge time slot that's taken from your day, now you have all this time, but now like how do you manage it?
Yep.
And it's our greatest asset is our time. So where is it going? And like you said, I mean, I felt this like today even. Like I started my day, I had this one thing that I needed to do, but then I got sidetracked by something else, and then I didn't do the thing that I actually needed to do. And then there are days that when I lay in bed the night prior, I actually go on my tasks and I put the little written things. And as I accomplish them, I check them off. Just that visual of you accomplishing things and checking them off,
Oh yeah.
that just gives you the motivation to keep going. I mean, that's what this is about, right? So you start the day, you get like one little task out the way, and that just kind of pulls on to the next, on to the next.
Make your bed.
Yeah.
So
You know, vision. You mentioned vision. I am using a lot of vision boards in my life. And guys, it's powerful.
it is.
It is very powerful. Things are coming to fruition. And it's just the universe has some laws, right? God built the universe and there's some laws, right? And it's mentioned in the Bible too. And when we visualize things and when you talk about things and you work towards something, it's like the universe conspires to give you that. It's crazy. It's just
Universe.
I don't like saying the universe.
Yeah, but
it sounds
The universe,
it sounds
bro.
kind of like
it's God. But
Yeah.
God
Jesus,
created
man.
God created the universe.
Yes, no, for sure.
Because people take it out of context. So there's those guys who believe in
You
constellations.
sound like
right?
an astrology girl.
Yeah.
let's not.
God,
It's not the
if
universe,
you're- if
man,
you're-
it's
No,
God.
It's my mom.
If you're Christian and you understand that God created everything, right?
Yeah, but we don't say the universe.
It's God,
Like,
man.
dude, I remember. Hold on, let me tell a quick story. There was one time we had.
We know it's God,
Ready,
but
say
the
God.
universe has laws.
bro? Ready?
God.
You got to read the Bible, bro. You
Uh,
try to
are
be
you gonna say
funny.
it's
You try to be
biblical?
funny.
No,
Are you gonna
let
say
me-
it's biblical?
You try to be
Are you gonna
funny.
say it's
It is.
biblical?
It's on the Bible.
No, hold
Yeah,
on,
it's
hold on.
God.
Let me give you an example, okay? Because one time we had a guest preacher. He's also like a coach, but we had a guest preacher at our church, and this guy, bro, he was preaching and he was like saying how so then when I put like money like in my wallet, I have a ton of bills, or he just talks about things of getting stuff like in the universe like I attract things from the universe and this and the universe that. Right. I just look at our pastor, Pastor Elias, he's just like, bro, what is he talking about right
hair
now?
off.
Like, what is going on? I just feel like we have to be careful because it's like when we talk about the universe, we have to be careful not to get into like this whole mysticism kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the one who's providing everything for us is God.
Yep.
You know,
Yes.
I think we just have to be careful so people don't misunderstand that.
He's gonna try to prove his point now.
Pulling up. Keep talking, man.
But words do have power, man. The last episode I was trying to remember an experiment that a guy did, but essentially it came down to him putting a certain substance in one container and a certain substance in another, and he literally wrote down love, I love you, you're great, you're a beautiful person, like just words of affirmations in the first container, and then the second container just like you're ugly, you're stupid,
I think it
you're
was
this, you're
plants.
that.
I think it were plants.
Was it plants?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's been like
Yeah.
a freaking pebble in my head.
I think your
So-
mom talked about that too. I've heard
She
her.
did?
Yeah.
Well, I know I heard it in
Yeah.
church somewhere. So,
Yeah, I've heard her talk about it.
Interesting.
so
Mhm.
essentially, one plant died,
Uh-huh.
the other one
Yeah.
kind of flourished, and guess which one flourished, guys?
Word of affirmation.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
I'm-
yeah, there's truth to it.
Yeah, I mean that goes to how we speak to ourselves too, right?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And the more positive things we say to ourselves, like just uplifting us. I feel like when a person is like in a very down state, they just don't want to do anything. They want to get up from their butt, and it's just hard to do any simple task in their life.
Yeah.
That simple task becomes so big, or problem, so to speak.
Yeah, so this over here is in Job. I knew where I had to write it somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to pull it to you. So, do you know the laws of the universe? Can you set their dominion over the earth? Can you lift up your voice to the clouds that an abundance of water may come over you? May cover you, sorry. Can you send out lightning that we may go and say to you, here we are? So he's talking about the power of prayer to God. You know, because Job was struggling a lot. I mean, if you know this story of Job, it's actually
Took
very-
everything from
yeah.
him.
So there are universal laws. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the four of us are Christians, and people, but I guess people are watching that may not be Christians, but God set universal laws. There are universal laws that are in the Bible. It's talked about.
Yeah, universal laws
That are
not
created.
universe.
But who created the universe?
God.
Exactly. So God made those laws. The universe is not a thing. The universe is just a space.
But here's something that I've actually talked about this in Sunday school, and I believe this wholeheartedly, that people talk about the laws of attraction.
Yeah.
But I believe that there is, what's the word? People are almost hesitant to acknowledge their own merits for their accomplishments. And here's what I mean by that. Because people always, the default is saying, God, thank you for everything that I've accomplished. Everything good comes from God. But there is a degree of merit for what you achieve. Because God will give you opportunities, but He also gives you free will. So we are all blessed, but we've all taken different paths. We taken different opportunities. So some will accomplish more than others. It doesn't mean that they're more blessed than others. So yes, God is in everything, but there is a degree of merit that you should be proud of.
I think it's a fear of being
So when you talk
prideful.
about the law of attraction thing, it's you're attracting what you're putting efforts into.
You know what that reminds me of, man? The Saturday training we did for the team, and the night before we were talking about David versus Goliath. Like, he received the anointing from God. Like, yo, you're going to be risen as a king. And then the first thing that David did is he went back to his sheep and he kept playing the harp for them,
Yeah.
just waiting for his moment to come. And then his dad was like, yo, man, your brothers are at war. They need some Uber Eats. Like, just go deliver some food for them. And then when he got there, David realized, he was like, oh, this is my moment. You know what I mean? And then he went to go fight Goliath, and he was like, man, I don't need this armor. Just get this out of me. And then he grabbed a rock against the tallest guy in the world. He just grabbed the rock and just said a prayer and just whipped it at him. And
Slingshot.
was it a slingshot?
Yeah,
Just-
rock,
Yo,
slingshot.
it's so funny. You ask Melissa, what did David do to Goliath? She'll go,
Dude, that's not cute. Oh, man.
Yo, I want to go back to what Newton said about how people sometimes are just afraid of even acknowledging their own worth.
Right.
I think it's fear of pride. It's hard, man, because sometimes you don't want to come across, especially to God, as if you're not thankful, because without Him you can't do anything.
Right.
So, but I understand what you're saying, but I think that's something I struggle with a lot. Like, I personally struggle with a lot. Is like, when do I cross the line, right? Because I always thank God for everything, but I know that there's got to be merit there too. Because if you don't work towards it,
Right.
you won't achieve it.
Yeah.
If you don't take that leap of faith, if you don't, if you stay on the side of fear, you won't accomplish anything, right? So you got to take that leap of faith. You got to work towards your
But I think
dreams.
you just, I think the word, when you said, like, when do you cross the line? I think it's when that acknowledgement of merit becomes pride. I think that's when you cross over the line, because then pride in itself, I think we can almost have a episode talking about just pride alone.
Yep.
Because I actually saw many studies talking about pride being the greatest sin, and because it could be the root of all these other things that could go wrong.
When you guys talk about, like, acknowledging merit, like, what does that even look like? Because Victor's like one of the hardest working guys that I know. He accomplishes a lot.
Right.
And the dude acknowledges one thing, and then people are like, yo, you're arrogant, bro. You're arrogant as hell, man. Get out of here. So it's like, what would that look like acknowledging your own merit in the sense?
I mean, to me, it's like, if you attribute everything to God in a sense of, like, your achievements, right? Then it's almost like God has favorites, because Victor has more than me, so God loves him more or blesses him more, which is not the case. Victor took a path and he had opportunities that he took advantage of, and now he finds himself where he is. So I think it's not like one or the other, right? So God enabled him to do these things, and he achieved them because of God. But he did it. Victor did it because of God. So it's the thing that I try to come to grasp is that exactly that is that I am blessed differently than you are, than Gabe is, but it's not because God loves me less or more. You're blessed, but there are opportunities that are given to you that you either take or you don't, and there will be consequences to those good decisions and the bad decisions. So when you talk about like what's worse for you to, if you have premarital sex, for example, and you get a girl pregnant, you got to deal with those consequences. You made a bad choice, and now there are consequences. When you make good choices, there are consequences to those as well. So
I think so. Here's the thing. I think where you guys open up two cans of worms that we're gonna have to address now. So one, when people, so you guys that work with me, you know, I don't brag about the things I have ever, right? But you know, I'm in a position that I have to talk about the things that we can accomplish because I want to motivate people to do the same, right? I feel like those people that project, because there's two types of people. The one that will see success and they would be attracted to it and they're going to try to learn about it and try to motivate themselves to do better. And there's the type of people that will criticize you,
Make excuses
and judge you.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy is this guy is that. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was lucky. He was this. Those types of people are the ones that we shouldn't pay attention to.
Right.
Because envy is also a huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps you down.
Yeah.
It keeps you
envy
feeling,
and pride are
they go, right?
That's
so
the same thing that I was thinking here just now.
it goes well. And then on the prideful side, I mean, I don't know it in English, maybe you guys know. Soberba procede a queda. How would you?
Is it arrogance?
The pride
Soberba is
precedes
almost-
your
yeah,
fall,
it's-
right?
yeah.
I think pride precedes your fall. I don't know if that's a great translation, but precedes, right? Precedes your fall. And Moses is very scared of that because I acknowledge and I try to acknowledge as many times as possible when I speak, when I coach. Hey, listen, yes, I work hard. Yes, I took advantage of opportunities. But again, God opened up those opportunities for me.
Right.
God is the one that put me in a position that, okay, Victor, he gave me the talent. Without him, I wouldn't be here. Like, I look back, right? I made a huge achievement. I achieved a goal of mine this past weekend, and to think that I'm driving the car I'm driving, and 9 years ago I was riding a bicycle to go to work. I mean,
That's crazy.
it is crazy, right? But and then I look at my path and I was like, dude, how am I here? God opened up those doors. God opened up those opportunities, and I think that's what people need to be aware. The way you are aware is by being thankful about what you currently have.
Right.
Because here's the thing. Yes, financial success is great and it opens up opportunities. I believe that everybody should try their best to be successful financially because you will be able to do more with your life. It's just how it is. But there are other forms of success. You're a father, you have a wife, you have 2 kids, right? One is on the way. You have a house,
Amen.
you have a business, you're intelligent, you're creative, right? You're healthy, your wife is healthy, your kids, right? A lot of people don't even have the basics. And I think I believe that the more you're thankful for things and the more you give, the more you get.
absolutely.
Dude, and we spoke a little bit about this. It was like pre-podcast talk, how more people need to share their testimony.
Yes.
And you talked about it now, like where God brought you compared to almost a decade ago to where you are today is completely different.
Not
Right.
even a decade ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we have to share our testimony, not to be prideful and to be like, oh, I'm better than you,
Yeah.
but to be like, God did this.
But here's the thing. You want to know something crazy? A lot of Christians, they do not share their testimony because they're afraid of how the envy that people may place on them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If you believe in a powerful, almighty God, he will put a shield around you. That's what I pray for. God, shield me, put your angels in front of me with your shield to protect me against any bad feelings or any evil. Okay? Because you got to share it. You have to share it. And I'm sick and tired of churches just sharing the bad things. Everybody wants to go and pray for the sick and the ill. How about we celebrate the the people that are there achieving, working hard. Hey, this
Success.
guy, success,
Success,
man.
Yep.
Because that's what it's about. That's what community is about.
Yep.
We were talking about the body of Christ before the podcast the other day. And what's the analogy, right? So you can't, if you cut an arm off, what's the analogy? you mentioned?
Basically, like if you cut an arm off, can it live without the body? No.
No.
It
Right.
can't. It'll wither away.
But here's the thing: if you're in a toxic body, and the body, if your heart gets sick, your entire body gets affected, right? So one person can ruin the entire body. Gossip, like, kills the church.
Yeah.
People that are toxic, instead of adding, just they take it away. The envy about your brothers, dude. If you want to achieve what I have, just come and talk to me, man.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to tell you what I did. Maybe it will work for you, maybe it won't.
Yeah.
But I guess, and I'm just one of them. I'm not even successful. I'm talking. Imagine like that's what I did. That's why I got here.
Yeah.
I had people that were successful, and I was like, all right, dude, listen. And I asked this dude 4 times, bro, I want to sit down with you. What are you doing? Like, you got to be doing something different. You're making money. But no, sometimes people are just prideful. They don't even want to ask.
They don't even want to share.
Dude,
No.
that's-
The people that are successful, they always share.
Dude, and what you said too, how
That's true.
in the body sometimes we'll see like toxic people or people
Oh yeah.
who will gossip, and it's like, as a body, we also have to hold each other accountable. If we see things, if we can help each other and really call it out. Not to be like, oh, you're a bad person. No, it's like, I want to help you. I want you to succeed. I want you to be better.
Mhm.
I'm doing this for your own good and because I love you and care for you.
Yeah.
Like that.
But
that
it's got to come from the heart, though.
It
yeah.
does.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
Victor and I, we roast each other a lot, man. But it's like we roast each other, we pick on each other, but honestly, I never looked at the guy and thought that he was saying something that wasn't from the heart. You know what I mean? And then there's some people who try to come to you and say something, and you just know that person's kind of trying to pick at you and make you just feel a certain way, make you feel bad. Like someone who doesn't even know you calling you arrogant, that's so, like, you don't even know the guy.
Well,
You know what I mean?
going back to the episode where we talked about criticism, right?
Yeah,
Knowing where it's coming from.
exactly.
That's what you just said. Like when Victor approaches you about something, you know that it's coming from a place of love. So,
Yeah, and then here's the thing, man, that we have to be very aware of also. The success, God, the good things in life, yes, there's God, but there's also a devil out there. And devil, in the Bible, it says that he came to do 3 things: to kill, to steal, and to destroy. Kill and steal, very simple definitions. Destroy it could be anything. He comes in through the crevices. Right? He comes in through the crevices. And then I want to throw it back to about 2,000 years ago. Let's think about the apostles and Jesus in his ministry. We talked about this, I think it was yesterday before we started recording. Those guys had to deal with fame and success, because if you don't think Jesus' ministry was successful, we're still talking about it till this day. Right? The Bible was the first printed book, right? And those guys had to deal with success and fame, and they didn't even let it get to their heads, because they prayed, they knew what their mission was, and they're like, yo, we're here for God, and that's it.
John the Baptist said this, right? Because he came before Jesus, right, to bring the gospel and prepare the way. And he says, I want him to get bigger, and I want myself to get smaller, right? So whatever I do is to honor Christ, right? I want to show that it's possible to be Christian, be a man of values and conservative, right? Which people criticize so much nowadays, and still be successful. I don't want people to just see me like I stick up. Like, I'm cool. I joke around. I'm normal, a regular person, man. I just have values, and I believe in God. And for the longest time, I believed in God, but I didn't want to be Christian. Because you got to be Christian. You can't. You got to act Christian. I want people to know that I'm Christian just by looking at what I do, what I say, how I say it. And that's hard.
Yeah.
It's breaking
Oh, yeah.
26 years of bad habits, that not being that way. And it's a constant battle, man. If I catch myself a day or two without reading, then it becomes easier and easier to not read. And then I start going back to the old ways. Like, I think cussing, for example. Cussing is just, why would I cuss? Like, and then when I catch myself cussing, that's when I know. And for the longest time, I didn't even think it was a big deal, because it's so everybody does it.
Right.
And it's the normalization
Yeah.
of things.
Bro, and to be honest, in my life, like prioritizing like reading your Bible and praying is so important. And a lot of times, like I completely fail at that. And that's the thing that keeps me up. That's the thing that keeps me motivated and strengthened. And when I'm not doing that, that's like you already know.
Yeah.
You already know. It feels like life isn't moving forward.
You feel empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel like there's something wrong. I mean, the Bible makes you wiser. I think that's the first thing. Like every day you will face adversity, and you're gonna need to be able to deal with your problems. Here's the thing: when you don't have guidance, you're all over the place. I was talking to this girl. She's 21, 22. She's living by herself, and she came to me. Somebody referred her to me, and then she's like, "Victor, I need financial help." She was like, "All right." So we had a meeting, came up with a plan for her. She was excited. She started the plan. And everybody who's alone, and she's Christian too, but everybody who's alone, they want to hear, they want to start asking for opinions. So she goes and asks everybody because she doesn't have a person she can go to. So she goes to her friend and another friend. And their friends, they don't know what I do. They don't know. So they gave her the wrong advice.
How many people do?
Yeah. So they gave her the wrong advice, and then she called me. And then I was like, listen, you're a Christian. So let me ask you this. If you read something on the Bible that contradicts everything that you've been doing, like something that, let's say you've been doing something wrong for your entire life, and then you read and discover that that's a sin. And then you go to somebody who's not Christian, and you mention it to them. What do you think they're going to say? They're going to ridicule you.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, that's silly,
Yeah.
right? It's whatever. Because they don't understand. They don't know the word of God. So it's the same thing with what I do. You either believe in what I say because I've done it and I'm in a better financial position. I can give you that kind of advice. I was where you were before, right? I was where you are now. I mean, but you got to believe. You got to understand where the advice is coming from. So I think that's so critical because when people don't know, they don't have the proper guidance. They make a plan and they start telling everybody. It's almost like they're seeking validation. They're like, hey, can somebody validate my plan?
But
What do you
they're
guys
preparing
think?
to fail too, man. Just the envy part of it.
Yeah, I mean, but again, obviously the envy has power. But again, if the person is praying about it, and you got to pray for that shield. I don't think it's more about the envy, but think about this: you start telling everybody that you did it, that you're going to do it, and then you don't do it.
That's the worst.
Everybody's gonna start criticizing you
Yeah.
because people love to criticize you.
Yeah.
Like I can do everything right. I say one thing here that people don't like, they will focus on that.
Yeah.
That's an insider.
Yeah, but dude, you know what, man? I do not care. This is our podcast. If you don't like what I say, there's two things you can do.
Turn it off.
Turn it off, unfollow, okay? Or go tell more people that I suck so they can go come and listen to us and get us more views, okay?
Preferably the second option.
Publicity. There's no such thing as bad publicity. And you can call me arrogant all we want, but if you think I'm arrogant, why don't you start your own podcast and start sharing your opinions?
Jeez, calm down, man.
Right? It's very
Yo.
easy.
Calm down, man.
Because it's
Hey,
very,
yo.
no, dude, because it's very easy.
Yeah, man, you're fighting the audience,
It's
bro.
very easy. Yeah, man, let's fight. No, I'm kidding. No, it's just, but the point I'm trying to make, imagine if I let that get to me. Like, I'm not going to move forward ever. So I want just people to understand, dude, people are going to criticize. Just do what you're doing. And again, I'll go even further and tell you this. If you make a plan and everybody thinks it's a good plan, change it. If you're doing something that because you got to be doing something that everybody criticizes, that everybody thinks is
it's a good
crazy. You got to do something that's completely crazy and out of the blue, out of the extraordinary, because then that's when you know you got something unique and you got something that's going to work.
You know what, man? I got a lot of confirmation that what we're doing is the right thing. It wasn't a little bit.
Yeah.
It was a lot of confirmation
No,
because
but-
what you're saying, like a bunch of people, even people who are mad close to me, just being like, Rodrigo, what you're doing, I don't agree with it, but I kind of support it. Like, nah, man.
Bro, what's our mission?
We want to make our immigrant community just the richest one in the U.S.
But also we want to disrupt the financial system.
Disrupt the financial system, and it's like
How do you think that's going to come?
people don't
Disruption, man.
understand, and people don't understand. Like what we're offering, what we're doing, what we know. We came from the bank. You spent 10 years there. I spent 3 years there. We used to tell people to do
The opposite.
the traditional thing. And then you look at everybody around you who's had a 401k for the past 25 years and they didn't even beat inflation. And you're like,
Yeah, dude.
maybe what I'm telling people isn't a good thing.
Yeah,
You know what I
you put yourself inside of a box.
Dude, people who retired last year just got destroyed.
Yeah.
Destroyed. They lost 20% of their money.
So translate that. So you know, it's funny because I just thought about this. So imagine this, right? You meet somebody that does their life. Their life is a mess, and then you offer them the solution, which is like, you know, go see Christ and stuff, right? And because when we tell our testimony, they think it's too good to be true, they decide to just not do it. Like, think about that. Like, you've been doing something for your entire life and it didn't work. And somebody offers you something different that questions your beliefs and disrupts your way of thinking. You just don't do it. You don't take action on it. Like, how many times you read the Bible, you read the promises that God left for you, and you just overlook it.
I think it goes back to what we said too. It's just fear. It's just people feeling scared. And I think the testimony that we say, the testimony that we experience and live, and the things that we read from the Bible, that should bring in conviction to people. And sometimes, like, that conviction can hit you like a rock. Like, dang, I'm messing up. Like, I need to change something in my life, or else, like, I'm not going to move forward. And that happens to us. I feel like that happens to us a lot, where throughout the day, it's like, dude, I need to change this habit. I need to change this action because it's not right. It's not biblical.
You know when it's easy. I don't know for you guys, but at least for me, you know when it's easy for me to figure out if what I'm doing is like right or wrong, is if I look back at a time when I was really close to Jesus and I'm like, yo, he's literally in the car right here next to me, you know, while I'm driving to work or doing something, and I don't cuss, I don't think about the wrong things, I don't listen to certain types of music. And then when I'm distant from Jesus, I do all those things.
Yeah.
I start cussing again. I start listening to Lil Uzi Vert. Like, if you guys say that really quick, a name's gonna pop into your head. And I think, and I'm like,
That went over my head.
Lil Uzi Vert. Lil Uzi Vert. I shouldn't say.
Just keep going.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
like, it's the little things, you know, that when you're. Did you really get it?
I got it.
Yeah, I think he got it.
Yeah, I got it.
No, he
So
got
you
it.
said it enough times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just keep going.
I'm not gonna say it again. So it's like the little things that when you're close to Jesus you don't do, and then when you're far away from Jesus, like you doing it, and then you just catch yourself. And those are the little things that you gotta change. Because like I said before, the devil comes in through the crevices, man, and you have to be prepared. You have to be shielded.
Yeah, dude. And then it's change. It's discipline. It's all of that, man. I talk about working out all the time, because there's a guy that I know that he does like he even tells me to do it. It's like this breathing exercises. It's like breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, to get oxygen to go to your brain, and you get like this sort of high, and it's a good feeling, right? But then guess what, dude? When you work out, it's the same thing. Like, it gives you energy, it gives you power. So it's not always that it works out that the first thing that I do my day is working out, right? It's not my reality. I have to make it work. But when you do work out in the morning, and for those who have tried, tell me not that the rest of your day just feels better.
Oh, it was a breeze.
Dude, when you
Even
go,
when we were at the 9 to 5, when we used to wake up at 4, and
you feel $1 million.
if yeah,
Dude, you feel $1 million. You feel accomplished. It's like, okay, all right, man, I did this. I did this
because
because
when I was at my A game.
it's not easy, man. Like, yeah, enjoy working out, but it's not like I don't like going to it. It's like, damn, I have to go.
Go lift this weight.
You know, like, I have to get there.
Victor lifted 205. I got to do 215.
That's that Christian competition.
That
You guys
discipline.
you guys are disciplined. You're not
Yeah, yeah.
competitive.
No, we're not.
But it's that
competitive.
thing. Sometimes half the battle is just going to work out. It's just going to do that task.
Yeah, I mean, it's most of the things that we're gonna face in life. Dude, life is difficult. It's just uncomfortable things one after the other every single day. I talked to this guy one time. I was like, bro, listen. here's the thing, man. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. You're asking me for advice. The first thing you need to do with your life is you gotta get into a diet, and you need to start working out. Because he was telling me, oh, I make plans and things don't work. It's like, bro, you gotta love yourself first. Okay, and I'm seeing a lot of when you talk to someone, all they do is pity themselves. Have you guys had that experience?
It's even worse when they're Christian and they keep pitying themselves,
No,
man.
it's like the person
Stresses
just
me out.
opens their mouth and they're like, yeah, man, this happened to me. My daughter's sick. I'm sick. My aunt's sick. Like everybody's
Hey,
sick.
imagine how do you tackle that verse that like love people like as you love yourself?
Yeah. And
You
then
don't even love yourself.
and I think that's why, man, some people think I'm arrogant because I'm like my biggest critic. Like I am a douchebag to myself. Like I'm like, bro, I look at myself in the mirror sometimes and like, bro, you're a female dog, bro. Like what are you doing? You gotta elevate your frequency.
You say
right
female
now.
dog?
Yeah, maybe not.
Yo, I want to bring in a point here because that verse, I follow this guy on Instagram and he was saying how that verse doesn't mean that you need to love yourself to love others. Like it says, love others as yourself, right? And then I thought about it. I was like, how am I going to learn to love people if I truly can't love myself and like really care for myself? Like, I don't know. Some of like that didn't really make sense to me because it's like, dude, if I'm treating myself like trash, I'm gonna treat somebody else like trash too,
Yeah.
right? Like it's
Interesting.
Well, in relationships, think about this. If you don't love yourself, you're going to be such an attention person, like seeking attention all the time from the person that you love. It's going to be tiring
Yeah.
because you don't love yourself, so you're asking for validation all the time.
Yeah, I think some people are also afraid of spending time alone.
Yeah.
Spending time alone, like just with yourself doing an activity, reading, journaling. I think some people just can't even stand to be by themselves anymore nowadays. Because nowadays, like you get your phone, you have TikTok, boom, 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 dopamine rush, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, even Facebook now, man, it has a bunch of stuff to give you that dopamine level so you hear another voice so you don't feel like you're alone when it's in the darkest moments of your life where you actually get those breakthroughs.
I think it's
Right.
that seeking instant gratification all the time.
It ruins people's lives,
It
man. And I
does.
tell you what, guys, once you hit rock bottom, the only way is up. I'll tell you guys that right now. You hit rock bottom, the only way is up. I talked about a time in my life in last season where I was down in the dumps and I felt terrible. And then my dad gave me some advice, and that's what, gave me that. That was a catalyst to keep me going. And ever since then, man, I just feel like a completely different person.
Yeah. Bro, I mean, when you seek dopamine all the time, and the world is made for that now because, like you said,
To destroy.
Instagram, like even Amazon, like you order something. Like when I was a kid, it was funny. Like when I was a kid and I wanted something, I had to wait for my parents to take me to the store, and then I had to get there. Maybe I had to order it and wait like 50 days. By the time you got the gift, it wasn't even a thing anymore. Nobody else was using it, like especially because we were broke as hell, so we had to wait until the thing was cheap to buy it. But nowadays, like my wife, she orders something like sometimes the same day, man. It's right
It's
there.
like a video game. Just poop.
Seek dopamine all the time. They can't accomplish anything. Because here's the thing. A lot of people, January 1st of every year, they go to the gym for about a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then they stop.
Yeah.
Because you don't see results. Like with going to the gym, yeah, you get a little bit of dopamine here when you finish the workout, but that's gone quickly, right? You get dopamine, you get that feel when you see results over time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a delayed gratification. With investments, like we work with money, and I tell people all the time, my friend, you're 45 years old, you've never saved a dime. Do you think you're going to sit down with me for a couple of hours and out of the blue I'm going to show you how to become a millionaire?
It's not magic.
It doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
You got to wait. Oh, but I'm going to be 60. I was like, be glad that you're going to be 60 and you're going to have some money, bro, because the way you're going right now, you're going to be 90 and you're not going to have
You
any
should
money.
be worried now.
Right?
Oh, man,
So,
Hormozy talks about that all the time, delayed gratification.
no, delayed gratification is everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. Like, so, kids, and I fell for this, man. Like, when I was young, I was buying cars. Like, how many cars did I have? Like 5, 6 cars. Like before I was 22. Like, because I wanted that car, I wanted that feel. Like, I want to feel important. Like, I have a car. It's so stupid, man. Like, people are just indebted. You don't even know. Like, you don't even know. Don't buy.
He's trying to impress people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta express instead of impress.
Yeah.
We won't get into it now. I have a whole training
That was-
about this.
He's all about the quotes, bro. All about the quotes.
But essentially, man, you gotta. The world nowadays is designed to make you fail. Like they're killing healthy competition. Because we had an episode about this, but when you go to play a game, if you have kids,
Oh God.
kids need to know that somebody's gonna win, somebody's gonna lose. You
We're
know,
all winners, bro.
That's not true.
That's
That's
the
not-
video of the coach. The guy's like, if your dad tells you that there is no such thing as losers, he's a loser.
You know what? You know what I hate? I absolutely hate is playing a game and not keeping score.
Yeah, that's the thing,
dude.
It's a thing now.
It's a thing,
That's so dumb.
Yeah,
dude.
Dude,
because-
but think about it. Think about when we were kids. Also, think about when you had to you had your favorite show and you were watching it when you were a kid. Also, like you had to go watch it at a very specific time of the night,
exactly. Oh my
Yes.
god, that's a
and
good
then you
example.
had 5-minute ads.
Run
and
to the
and
bathroom,
then you
get
had
some
to
food.
run to the bathroom, come back. I remember I used to fight my brothers all the time because they wouldn't tell me like when the show was back on. And today there's literally a skip intro button, skip ads.
Pause.
You can like
Dude,
you can
Mil-
fast
his
forward.
daughter,
through
dude,
everything.
had it with her little fingers. Dude, I kid you not. She was not even a year old. I kid you not. She would get my phone. She wasn't even a year old, bro. This is crazy to me. She'd get my phone, go to the camera, take pictures, and I was like, what?
Bro.
That's
What is
crazy.
this?
Yo, these pandemic babies are nuts.
Dude,
man.
they're crazy. No, Melissa's
That's
going
right,
to
man.
conquer the
Yo,
world,
when I have
bro.
a kid, I'm letting my kid know right now. When you're born, my future son, I'm gonna design a game for you to lose on purpose. Like, you're going to lose.
It's like
You know?
Scary Maze game, bro. He's gonna get right to the end. It's gonna freak him out.
No, but yo,
Oh, yeah,
just-
I'm gonna
just
traumatize
think
my
about
kid for
what,
sure.
what what society. No, think about what society's doing to people nowadays, right, man? Hey, it's okay. You're never gonna be criticized, and when somebody criticizes you, you're gonna whine and sue and do all these things. You know what I mean? Like you get to be what you want, dude. You don't, man. You don't. Like me, be honest with you, you do not get. So, for example, I'm gonna kill that term right now. A Brazilian cannot be an American president. There you go. You can't be everything you want. There you go. Prove me wrong.
Bolsonaro becomes president 2024.
Right? You can't be everything you want, bro.
Yeah.
And if you should say that to your kid, you just gotta say, hey man, listen, you can work hard, but sometimes you won't be in control.
No, but it's so like they go too far with these things.
Ah,
They go way too far with these things. You guys saw what happened in Canada, where they literally
Oh, yeah.
said if you're an athlete and you now identify as a woman, you will compete in a woman's category.
Yeah, dude.
And then this
Imagine
guy-
LeBron James decides to play like
Hey,
Dave
yo.
Chappelle, LeBron James now
90
identifies as a woman, goes to the WNBA and scores
10,000
1,000 points every game. Like,
Yes, which unfortunately what's happening now in college, I mean, I'm sure people have heard of this, Leah Thomas, a guy who was ranked like 400 something in the 200 meters or whatever, decides that he's now a woman, he's competing, and all of a sudden he's the best female swimmer in college.
but in Canada, that's legit how it is now.
Yeah.
Like legit how it is now. You guys thought I was joking about that athlete. The guy did it to prove a point. Like he went back to identifying as a man right after he lifted like 5. He literally was like,
Oh yeah,
okay,
I
I'm
saw
a
that.
I'm a 235-pound woman now.
Wait, what?
He
and then he
obliterated
lifted-
the lifting
He
record.
lifted some
and
like
then he went-
ridiculous weight, like for bench press. Like
Yeah.
it was like almost 400 pounds. And he went back to the men's league. He's like, yep, I set the record there. And they won't even change it. Like the
Dang.
record is
Dude,
just
it's
there.
it's just ridiculous,
Yo.
man. Yeah. Well, either way, I think that's the good part about letting the juices flow and talk, right? Conversation could go either way, but thank you very much, folks. I appreciate you all. As
Next
always,
week we'll talk about more
Yeah.
society.
More.
Society. Let's talk about society, man.
Yeah, next
'Cause
week,
that's-
let's do
that's- That's life.
I think
right?
it's
That's gonna
time.
be- That's gonna
Yeah,
be an
that's gonna be-
interesting
We
episode.
might get
Interesting.
canceled. Let's be prepared. Let's pray.
Bro,
for
you said
shielding.
that in the first
yeah,
episode.
bro, you gotta stop.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
preparing.
Do
Do
since
you
the
remember what
first
we said
episode.
yesterday that our words have power?
Power. Yeah.
So think about how they.
I'm praying.
We're gonna cancel
protection.
you.
Yeah,
No.
facts. Yo,
Yeah.
We get
yo,
canceled as a group or
now let's
not.
make a vote on
Cancel
Instagram.
your cancel.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you very much. We'll talk to you guys next week. Neil,
care.
get some sleep.
Good, man.